As a land surveyor, one of the questions I will occasionally get from a landowner or somebody that's looking to buy a piece of property, they'll ask me, Landon, why aren't my property corner monuments set? And that question, it doesn't always have an easy answer, a simple answer. So what I want to do in this video is talk about why it's important that your property corners be marked by monuments, and some reasons why a particular parcel may not have its corners marked, and it may not have ever had its corners marked. I think that's a way more common problem than people realize. There's a lot of land in the United States that has never been surveyed and has never had the property corner monument set. And even if property corner monuments are set, we have a really bad habit in the United States of destroying property corner monuments after they've been set. And we do that both on the private side and on the public side. So when government agencies improve streets and put in utilities, things like that, they also destroy monuments. So why is it important that your property corners be marked by a monument, by a physical monument? There's a couple reasons. Actually three. I'm going to give you three reasons. One, having your property corners marked by a physical monument helps you prevent what we call encroachments. That's a legal term. Essentially what it means is somebody builds something or puts something onto your property. That's an encroachment. It's no bueno. Encroachments are not good. They're a bad thing. If somebody has an encroachment for long enough, they can actually acquire what's called unwritten rights in your property. So if you have physical marks on the ground, that allows you as a landowner to defend your boundary line, make sure that other people aren't encroaching on it. If you don't have those property corner monuments set, it can be really hard to understand where that line is, and if you have a neighboring property owner that's encroaching onto your property. Second reason it's important to have property corner monuments set is it avoids boundary disputes. Boundary disputes are expensive. I do a lot of work with land attorneys when there are neighbors, usually wealthy neighbors, fighting for a property line. It's very expensive. Attorneys are expensive. Surveyors are expensive. So if everybody knows where the property line's at because there's physical marks in the ground, you just eliminate a lot of that possibility for conflict. So that's another important thing. And then the third one is that it eliminates the ability for people to acquire unwritten rights, and we talked about that before. Unwritten rights are a very dangerous thing. They can really hamper your ability. Not only do you lose some property rights, but it can hamper your ability to do things like get title insurance on a parcel, which makes it very hard to sell. If you can't get title insurance, it's very hard to sell property. So you don't want unwritten rights on your property, and having property corner monuments, physical monuments set to mark your property corner helps prevent that. So we know it's important. I'll give you those three reasons why. So then the next question is, well, if it's so important, why are so many parcels not marked by physical monuments in the ground? Good question. I'm going to give you several reasons. So one reason is many of the parcels that we have in the United States, including in California here where I practice, those parcels were created by deed. In other words, just a written description of the land, and it was never surveyed on the ground. So nobody's ever actually put that parcel, no surveyors ever actually surveyed that parcel on the ground and set monuments to mark the boundaries. We don't let you do that anymore. So we realized a long time ago, 100 years ago or more, we said that's a really bad idea. These guys would get together in a local saloon and they'd sell property with just these napkin sketches and no monuments on the ground. So we changed the law a long time ago, and now if you want to create new parcels, you actually have to do a survey map, a subdivision map, and most jurisdictions require that monuments be set to mark the parcel boundaries. But for a long time, that wasn't the law, and you could create parcels by deed, and they didn't have to be surveyed. If they weren't surveyed, no monuments got set. So it's possible you own one of those older parcels. A second reason is that a parcel was created with the subdivision map under the current law, but in most places, the client and the land surveyor have a lot of leeway in deciding how many monuments to set and where to set them. And so in a lot of places, the individual lot corners are not set. So my subdivision, where I bought my home, is a good example of that. We have centerline monuments, what we call centerline monuments, out in the street, but they didn't set the individual lot corners. So my actual boundary of my house, there are no monuments. So you need a surveyor to take those centerline monuments that are out in the street and use that information from those monuments and the information on the subdivision map to put my boundaries back on the ground. So essentially, every parcel in my subdivision needs to get a survey at some point. And And the reason clients do that is because it saves them money when they're doing the subdivision. It's not a great thing for the subsequent purchasers. So it's possible that you had a parcel that was created with the survey, but the monuments were not set because somebody wanted to save money. So that's the second reason. The third reason is, in either case, either way your parcel was created, somebody had come in and done a retracement survey, and then for whatever reason they decided not to set monuments. So this happens a lot when surveyors do what's called a land title survey or an ALTA survey. Client will hire us as part of a due diligence on a piece of property to go and do a survey, and then they have the option to tell us if they want the monuments set or not, and frequently, probably more often than not, they will choose not to set the monuments. So you could have a survey done after your parcel was created, and the surveyor was told not to set monuments. That also happens. And then finally, on the chance that you got a survey, either the creating subdivision map or a retracement survey, and somebody actually paid the surveyor to set monuments, those monuments could then be destroyed. And there's two primary ways that happens. One is when you go to improve the property, the monuments get destroyed during construction. So block walls are famous for that. Lots of other types of fences frequently dig up monuments. When you grade the site, the monuments can be destroyed. So private landowners often destroy their own monuments. They will destroy their neighbors' monuments when they're doing construction on a site. That's one reason why we try in the land development process to set the monuments after most of the construction's been completed. Just the monuments have a better chance of survival. The second way we destroy monuments is cities and counties and states like to pave monuments over. They like to rip them out of the ground when they improve streets or put in underground utilities. Utility companies also do this, destroy monuments. It is against the law, but it is a really hard problem to stop. It's a constant struggle. And so I would say more than 50% of the monuments that we look for on a regular basis here in California have been destroyed. So it's a huge problem. It has a really big impact on us as land surveyors. So it's important to have your corner set. There are 4 or 5 reasons why your property corner monuments may have not been set. So your corners are unmarked and you are open to problems. So if you're going to buy a parcel, if you're looking at a purchase of a parcel, especially a commercial parcel, ag parcel, industrial parcel, one of the things you need to ask as a purchaser, as an investor, as a lender, even as a title company that's insuring that property is, are the monuments set? Has the property ever been surveyed, and are the monuments currently set? You need to get a survey to answer that question. If the property corners monuments are not set, you are opening yourself up to problems in the future. Get your property corners marked. Do it before the sale closes. Work together with the seller to share that cost. Do not take that cost on as a purchaser after the sale closes. After the sale closes, your seller is not going to want to help you. Get it done before the sale closes. Make sure you've got good monuments in place before you buy a parcel.